As Turles regained consciousness, he felt the stiffness of the operating table underneath him and the brightness of the lights above him. He wanted to break free from his restraints, but he quickly realized that the ones operating on him were not enemies. They were Bulma and her father. Tights was also present in the operating room, holding his hand, clutching it tight. "I'm not dead. You don't need to make a scene, you know," he smirked. In fact, as he learned from everyone as he was slowly gathering consciousness, no one, except for Dr. Gero, was really dead. Those androids were just toying with people and searching for Kakarot, who was still suffering from the heart virus. Hopefully, it would take them a while to find him and allow Goku to recover, so he can then steal the show once again. "Whatever you did, your old prosthetic couldn't take it," Bulma said. "It was something, huh? If it was to fail, then, it went out in a blaze of glory," joked Turles, which nobody at all found amusing because they built the darn thing. Whilst Turles felt rather hopeless at his prospect, and even before his defeat, now he could process everything that he had actually taken in, he was rather content with what he had achieved, actually. Yes, of course, he still hadn't been able to master the Super Saiyan transformation, and it looked like it was becoming increasingly unlikely that he would do so. It might not even be enough to defeat the androids if he did. But what he did show them was something different from what Kakarot or Vegeta had achieved. At least he'd managed to secure the goal that he had wanted internally, to go down his own path. Of course, then his self-satisfaction quickly evaporated when he soon discovered that the androids were much stronger than any of the Super Saiyans. So, yeah, no one had defeated them. Turles knew he had a problem here. It was something for later, most likely, though. He allowed himself, for once, to rest, and his hand was being repaired. Maybe if Bulma had some luck with Gero or his clownish lackey, she could maybe get some ideas about what to do with this upgrade. But Turles didn't want to complain or hurry her. He was just grateful for the fact that he was getting any kind of medical attention. The Beans brothers were clearly involved in the whole process too, possibly helping the human scientists to figure out how his hand worked. Because originally, that first prototype, they made it. Things overall looked dire though. But Kakarot was still alive, everybody thought, and took comfort in. And the androids might not know where to find him. And maybe they might not be as malicious as the future versions. And apparently, Piccolo had gone off to talk with the other Namekian, the old guy, who was treated like a deity around here. Yes, Turles knew that he was the guardian of Earth, but still though, gods and all that stuff, it was weird. Well, wait until later, mate. Turles always thought that he was a little peculiar, and he'd never personally met this Namekian. He'd only ever heard of Kami, never really actually got to see him in person. But to his understanding, there was definitely a strange bond between him and Piccolo. They were supposedly life-linked, and also apparently, the Dragon Balls were tied to both of them. If one of them were to die, they were gone. Dragon Balls and all. Turles had to admit that all of this thinking gave him a massive headache. Simple. I mean, can you imagine Saiyans with Dragon Balls? I mean, they'd all be confused. Tights wasn't speaking much in the hospital room, but he could feel that she was both worried and a little bit frustrated at Turles for throwing his life away like this, so brazenly, without thinking of anyone else. Well, come on, he was still a Saiyan, and he liked to be challenged. He thought he had an opportunity here, and he had to take it. It was only the natural urge of a Saiyan. To not do it would be denying his heritage, and Turles simply could not do that. He wanted to break out on his own and give it a go. Throughout all of his time, he wasn't sure how long he had been bedridden, but it didn't last all that long. Amon tried to check up on him a few times, but seeing that most of the time Turles was indeed conscious, it did calm the big guy down and he did back off a bit. Because, remember Mighty Turles and all that. He was one of his biggest fans. After the procedure was completed, they forced a sensu bean on him, left by Krillin. He still wasn't a big fan of this solution. He considered it an easy way out, but he did understand that he really needed to be battle ready here. And if he thought about it, the Zenkai boost that he would get from this, the Saiyan power, ooh, this could be spicy. Maybe it might trigger something good. Soon enough, Piccolo visited the pair of them. "Good to see you on your feet. Listen, we've got a problem here," he said. "Wait, Was this really Piccolo? There was something weird about the Namekian. He seemed different, spiritually and physically. What, problem? What are you going on about, green guy?
We don't have the Dragon Balls anymore, but let's say that I got an upgrade. There's something else lurking around here. I need a second pair of eyes. Care to join me?
Gladly, Turles said. Ooh, he liked being useful. But Turles, you barely healed up, Tight said, irritated. Look, I'll be fine. I'm not going out to the front line. Seems like I'm doing some covert work. Besides, I'm not gonna go say no to the nice green guy over here. He came to visit me. He took time out of his day. And he asked politely. Tights just rolled her eyes. He understood Earthling's sentiments a little bit better nowadays, but still, he did like to go against them every now and again. So, after a moment of awkward silence, he added, I'll be careful. Promise. She hugged him. You better, or I'll kick your ass, she said. Turles smirked. Meanwhile, Bulma poked her sister in the arm. Want to help me monitor the android's position, sis? It would give me some time to manage Trunks, she said. Yeah, sure, why not? Haven't got anything else to do now. She was looking at Turles and Piccolo flying away in the distance and needing to do some busy work. As they flew towards their next destination, Turles started to probe Piccolo about his new strengths. So, how powerful are you now?
I feel that I can deal with one of them at a time.
Turles raised his eyebrow. What, you serious? Up until now, no one had been able to lay a finger on them. What? Why haven't you done this sooner? Turles asked, frustrated at the fact that Piccolo was holding out on him.
I had to work through some differences with my other half. You see, there's a lot of history between us, and it wasn't a simple, hey, want to work together? Oh, yeah, sure, why not? But now we're here, as one,
he said. It must feel weird. Do you have your own memory still, or are you Piccolo, or Kamikolo, or... How does it work?
Well, I'm still Piccolo, just with extra features, I suppose, he said.
Turles checked his communicator and read through a message. Oh, that's interesting. Gohan and Trunks, the future one, have found a second time machine lurking in the woods, and some sort of an eggshell. Do you think your hunch might be connected to that?
Well, it feels like too much of a coincidence not to be, Piccolo said.
As they arrived in Ginger Town, they started to look around the area and realized that the whole town was missing. They'd completely abandoned the city. What happened here? Looks like one of those horror books that Tights gave me. There's not a trace of anyone in sight, Turles said.
I've no idea what you're talking about, but there are just clothes left around, he was saying, confused.
Whatever it is, it must be some kind of party, Turles joked.
I don't get it. What kind of party?
Piccolo seemed oblivious. Never mind, big guy, Turles said.
There's some weird power lurking around here. I can feel it,
Piccolo said. The whole place feels tense myself, if I'm honest. Whatever power you can sense, I can only barely register it. As the two of them were searching among the dropped clothes, they then heard some footsteps.
No, please! I'm the richest man in Ginger Town! I will do anything if you spare me! Money, 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 money.
Turles raised his eyebrow, seeing a weird, bug-like humanoid holding a hostage. Piccolo rounded the corner and saw it too.
Hey you! Drop that man!
Piccolo growled at the creature. The green being stopped, slowly tilting his head towards the pair of them and obeyed his command. Then, in the blink of an eye, the creature's tail stabbed the man in the back and drank him, leaving both Turles and Piccolo aghast.
Well now, you didn't say anything about me doing that. But yes, Piccolo, Turles, how nice to see you here,
the creature said.
How do you know our names?
Piccolo asked.
You know, everything runs in the family,
the creature said ominously, smiling with its beak-like mouth.
Have you ever seen a creature like this before, Turles?
Said Piccolo, turning towards his teammate. Kinda. He looks like a messed up Orlean, Turles said.
Oh, hello there. I'm Cell, and I'm the one not judging you two by your appearance. Anyway.
The Cell creature powered up, which threw Turles off his guard, but Piccolo, he wasn't too bothered. How much stronger had he gotten, the pirate thought?
Wait, he feels weird. His aura,
Piccolo said. The being started to attack Piccolo and Turles, surprising them with various attacks, including the special beam cannon and even Turles' kill driver. Ugh, he must be some kind of mimic, Turles yelled, avoiding the attacks. He had seen plenty of those before, but nothing as complete and perfect as this.
Not quite. Now for my favorite trick. Ka, nay, ha, nay, ha!
The creature yelled, launching a Kamehameha attack. The two of them had to do their best to dodge the attack. It was clear that Piccolo was not making this up. He wasn't talking out of his bottom. He could beat this guy, but he wanted information first, so he was toying with him. Ooh, that was a smart move, Turles thought. How did this creature know all of their tricks? Maybe there were more of them. This cell seemed cooperative.
I guess I can throw you a bone. You see, like the androids you guys are now fighting, I was also created by Dr. Giro. I come from 24 years in the future.
And proceeded to tell them exactly how he was created in Dr. Giro's sublab, because he liked to have an audience, because remember, there are a lot of constituents about him that like to gloat, and that he was created from the combined DNA of many beings, including humans, Namekians, Saiyans, and even the likes of Frieza and his father. This was deeply troubling, especially if he had some Frieza DNA in him. Why are you telling us all of this? There might be one of you still in this timeline, if I understand correctly.
Oh, I don't like competition. I want it all for myself, the creature said, grinning.
As they were about to come after him, he blinded them both with a solar flare. Ugh, that scum! We gotta go after him! Turles shouted.
One problem at a time. We should start with the androids first.
Maybe we should split. At least I can keep an eye on him, Turles said that he would keep under wraps. Piccolo looked to him.
Are you sure about this? Tights would have my head if I allowed you to do that.
Turles hoped that Amon would be able to help him track the creature from base and keep him in check. Meanwhile, Piccolo would focus on the androids and try to stop them from doing any damage or maybe even finding Goku. It was a risky plan, but it was the best that they could come up with at that precise moment. Turles knew that he would need to be careful and not underestimate the creature's power. If he met up with that guy, oh, he'd be toast. He also knew that Tights would not be happy with his decision if she were here, but he hoped that she would understand in the end that he was doing what he thought was right. If he couldn't protect anyone with fists, he could at least help with covert operations. As he set out to track the creature, Turles couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. He was a Saiyan after all, and he relished some kind of challenge, and this was good enough after what he'd been through. He just hoped that this challenge wouldn't be his last. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.